โ change of range. welcome everyone to another day of the DPC PGL Dota 2 experience here in Southeast Asia Upper Division, where I've got a real treat for you guys. I've got D&D on the panel yet again, reunited, and it feels so good.
Yeah, thank you. Production was very happy with our panel yesterday, and they said they want to have it today once again.
All
so
20
here we
minutes
are.
of it.
Yeah. Didn't really, have enough time to talk about it. Our panel was actually longer than the game.
It was, yeah. Yes. If anyone was curious, we had this arrangement in China, and this was the situation where a Chinese team attempted a 0-minute tower and then lost the game in 13 minutes.
But it worked.
It worked, though. They got the tower, but they robbed the world of more Black in Lacoste paneling, and that was unforgivable.
That's been rectified, though.
It has been. And now Southeast Asia can appreciate the power of Black and Lacoste casting, Neon, and O'Mega Esports, because that is the one BO3 that we are doing today. And currently, OB.Neon haven't really played that much Dota since the major. They're chilling.
They're chilling, and they've been not winning as well. They are 1 and 2 at the moment. Very surprised, but even in the first season, like Southeast Asia region is just very hard to predict what's going to happen. A lot of these teams, I think OB.Neon are a very good example of how good this region is. Everyone is pretty much the same level of skill, I feel like. And anyone can beat anyone in this region. Maybe not Lilgun, but other teams, they can always take a game of each other.
With that in mind, I do think that Smart O'Mega may be a good benchmark for how good Neon are, because Smart O'Mega beat two of what I guess may be considered the weakest teams. They beat Lilgun, and they beat T1, and T1 was not looking good at the time. They pushed Fnatic to 3 games, lost the series, and then they got 2-0'd by Execration and TNC, who are both at the top. So, depending on how this series goes, we can kind of maybe get a read on how good Neon are. Are they really faltering after the major? Or were they just not familiar with the patch quite yet? And now we're in week 4 now. Surely now, Black, they have an opportunity to figure out what's going on.
It's very weird to me, because in Season 1 I think they were 5 or 6-0 even. The first 6 games, undefeated completely. And they look a lot weaker in this season. I'm not entirely sure why or what happened. Just their style. It's not even their style, really. It's just they make a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes. They played a lot better at the major individually. Here at the league, lots of mistakes.
Agree. Even in the first season, they were very aggressive. They're still very aggressive as a team, but overextending, which leads to, couple of kills that are unnecessary, giving the enemy team ability to come back into the game. But what I like about this team is them trying to put other team out of their comfort zone. They're not gonna pick these late game carry heroes. They will have these heroes that are gonna run at you, and you need to adapt. You need to be able to say, right now in this chaos, what do we do? How do we adapt to this? If you don't know how, they'll just run over you.
It's funny that you say that, putting enemies out of their comfort zone. I feel like they're putting themselves out of the comfort zone too.
That's what it feels like
because,
sometimes.
as I said, Natsumi is not...
He's not your traditional hard carry player.
It is very different now.
My question for you, Tsunami, is he your favorite player?
Because of the name.
Anagram.
It is an anagram of my name. Yeah. I only noticed that at the major because everyone was like, Natsumi equals Tsunami. And I was like, what? Do we look the same? I don't think we look very similar.
I didn't hear that. I thought about it yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. In Twitch chat, it's a common meme. And I was like, oh, interesting. But he look at that tower damage, dude. I do love playing pushing carries. I love me some Lycan, love me some Broodmother, love me some Drow Ranger.
Look at Tino, how shameless. He took that circumflex from my name. Because obviously I'm his idol.
Is that what that symbol's called? A circumflex? I always called it a carrot.
I mean, I'm sure it has many different names.
But I've never heard circumflex before.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, at least when I Googled, that's what came up.
Oh, okay. Why?
But I also know it's also called a carrot. I know that. Because people always call me Black Carrot. But
why did you add it to your name?
No, that.
Because it looks better.
You didn't want to add a XX Black XX because that was a common thing, or a question
back
mark
when
maybe.
he was a Black Dragon.
Yeah, that's right. Black Dragon 555 or something.
553.
553. What was
What's
the significance
meaning?
of 553?
I mean, that's the age I created the account. 5, 5, 3, 13.
Oh, 5 plus 5 plus 3. Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. I was 5 head back then already.
Dude, Lacoste got the math award. How did I figure out that faster than you, Lacoste?
This is too deep. You know, this is too complex for me.
Did you ever follow like a pro player's name? You know, when Burning's name was AAA, I would just be like AAA Black AAA. When I was like 13 or 14, I was like, ooh, I'm Burning now.
You gotta imitate your idols. And then a few years later, he's taken Clink's tips from you.
Yep.
Humble origins. But in terms of teams being pushed out of their comfort zone, Smart O'Mega is also doing that. They were picking some Broodmother yesterday, and maybe taking a page out of China's book, trying to figure out if Broodmother is viable, if supposed to be a strong offlaner.
Like SMH played really well. You know, the other team had a very good read what he's gonna do. Broodmother hits that level 6. They kind of stopped him, but it was only one time because he was pushing, taking control of enemy jungle. The tier 1 tower falls once you hit level 6, and if they don't have a good heroes in the safe lane, they're gonna get punished. They also took a tier 2 tower relatively fast, took over the outpost. Like, you can't play the map. Like, you're pretty limited where you can play Dota. You can try to invade the jungle, kill the Broodmother. I don't think it's really worth it just to get a kill on the Broodmother because you need to spend a lot of resources. You need to bring at least 3 heroes, especially like maybe expand one of the big ultimates, and then you need to play like in a triangle. Like, that's your area where you can play. My question is for like the games where we see Broodmother, why is Broodmother not trying to invade the triangle, Black? Have you figured that out yet?
No,
because I did not.
They're all just very comfortable in their like offlane. I'm just gonna sit here, or tier 2 towers down. I'm still gonna sit here. I'm not sure because when we saw these mid broods, that's what they would do.
Yeah.
They just go to the triangle, take that early farm away from like Drow Rangers and all that stuff. They can't do anything to you, but they're getting a little bit too comfortable in that offlane.
But mathematically speaking, there are more camps in the primary jungle. Why is the triangle of such high value to you? Just because the Ancients?
Ancients, stacking the Ancients, and this is where like multiple Sentry Wards will be placed just to secure it. So like you get less farm. If you have stacked Ancients, you're still gonna get more farm from that. So that's why I'm wondering like why we have not seen that yet.
It's also a much closer like proximity. There's a camp, whereas in the other jungle, you're gonna go here, and then there, and there. And
I will say that the one thing that was interesting is that Sam H's was the first Radiant Broodmother that we saw. And so the advantage of him staying in the primary jungle is he gets a lot of Roche control out of that and staying in Dire's jungle, taking control of that area. Whereas for Dire offlane, I'm with you. I feel like taking the triangle would be higher value because then you get even more Roche control and you lock out the Radiant triangle.
Very unexplored hero still.
Yeah.
Like even when 3-3 played him, like he is like a specialist of that hero, right? He also didn't look like super comfortable in this new Brood because it's still a different hero. There's still a lot of figuring out to do what the best playstyle is. And we'll see maybe a month down the line or so if it doesn't get nerfed.
Maybe. But we need to nerf Medusa first, don't we?
Yep.
Kinda. The hero just feels super strong. How would I nerf it?
Yeah.
Black proposed many different varieties of nerfs.
The cast yesterday, you know, you need to get like mana is 50, 100 plus percentage, right?
Plus max mana.
Yeah, like 100 plus.
Casting Mystic Snake should cost a percentage of her max mana, is what you said.
Yeah, so you just can't just cast it so easily without any effort. Because 170 mana when you have 3k mana pool is not that much, and you get like 2,000 mana back.
I was never that good. Like, I had some ideas, but for certain heroes, I was just not good at theory crafting how to nerf them. But I like the approach that Ice Frog has been doing lately. He's not just, you know, before we had these heroes that just get completely dumpstered after, you know, he's been strong, but right now he also gives them something back.
Yeah.
Like, we're taking this away, but we're also giving you back just so that you're still a viable hero. As for Medusa, still a bit too strong. I think he gave her too much with this Aghanim Scepter Snake bounces.
But
before,
did you say give and take, right?
Yeah.
I feel like all of her spells are just so good. If you buff any of them for nerfing the other, it would be too much for that spell again.
Because she got mana on the mana shield.
Yep.
And this Aghanim Scepter 1.5 plus 0.2 per bounce. Before it was 0.2
plus
plus...
just 1 second, right? Even.
It was maybe 1 or 0.2 plus 0.3 per bounce?
I think it was 1 plus 0.3 per bounce.
Yeah, so like the initial Stone Gaze was not as strong. She just feels like super good to have. There aren't many counters to her. Like mana burn heroes, we've have couple only, and we've seen even yesterday pairing her up with Nyx Assassin seems like just a very good idea. You talked about the hero pairings in general, Medusa with, what was it?
Legion
Commander.
Medusa Legion, Medusa Tiny I like because they're
Flexible,
They can just interchange what they want to do. But just in general, like even counters like Anti-Mage, Phantom Lancer, when you activate Stone Gaze, you're the boss of the game.
Yep.
Like they run at you, even your counters, they will die or take a ton of damage, and they can't fight you during the duration. So even your counters, you can itemize to counter them. So I just feel like Dusa right now doesn't really have any apparent weakness. Laning is good, you can defend towers easily, you can push towers quite easily.
I have a mechanics question.
Yep.
If you Wind Ranger, Focus Fire, and Medusa, but you're clicking away from her, are you counting as facing her, or are you counting... Because like, technically she's looking and shooting.
If you look at her, like, whenever your model is turned towards her,
Okay.
you're going to get stoned.
So even like mid-focus fire, even though you're clicking away, you're still looking at her technically?
Yep.
Okay.
She's too beautiful.
Too beautiful.
That's why you can't take the eyes off her. Funny story. So yesterday, I just have to tell. Yesterday, I'm playing a pub game, you know, and there's a techies on the enemy team.
Oh, God.
And everyone just starts complaining instantly in my team.
Of course.
Rightfully
And
so.
someone suggests an idea. Let's do a gentleman's agreement. Like, let's roll. So we roll.
Who abandons?
Who abandons? Exactly. And there's this one guy that was like AFK after he picked his hero. So four of us roll. I'm the lowest one until this guy shows up and he's like, yo guys, what's happening? And we're like, you know, we made an agreement. Who rolls the lowest needs to abandon. And then he rolls. He's the lowest one, and he says, well, I'll tank one for the team. Good night, gentlemen. I'm done with Dota today. And he just abandons. Like, I've never seen this happen before.
But you got to do it.
Like it was not like I thought they were stacked, considering how everyone agreed.
Yeah,
you know,
so mannered, so organized.
Exactly.
Was it like right away?
It was right away. Like
everyone's
he's
like, okay, yeah, let's go.
That's it. Like, and he just clicked the chat, check what happened, and
what time was it?
What time was
of
it?
The day, yeah.
It was around like 6, 7.
Oh, that's actually pretty early, yeah.
Yeah, and he said good night. Like, yeah, I guess he's just done with
Oh,
Dota
he's done
for
with
today.
Dota.
He's done
This
with
was the
Dota because
the dude came home from work. It was a weekday. He's like, I don't want to deal with this.
He'll probably, have. How much do you need to wait if you abandon? I didn't abandon in a really long
30
time.
minutes, I think.
30 minutes? Okay.
I think it escalates depending on the more abandons you have, though.
Okay. So 30 minutes is the
I
lowest
haven't
one?
abandoned.
I'm not abandoned
I
in
just
a really
know,
long
like,
time.
when you don't accept the game, you can't
It's
play
5
for 5
minutes.
and then
Yeah.
15.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. That escalates.
Yeah, but I don't know about abandons.
Whatever the case, Techie's clearly bringing communities together.
It should not be pickable in unranked.
I was so like pleasantly surprised with what happened. You know, I played Dota for such a long time and it never occurred. So yeah, let's focus on the draft now. Mirana Sanking, OB.Neon, classic opener. We're gonna run at you. This is most likely gonna be mid Sanking, which I'm not a big fan of. On the other side, Broodmother Sanking that deals well with the Broodmother. Like has this stun, has Caustic Finale, Sandstorm.
How would you like it if
You put
they put the Sanking against
against
the
Brood?
Brood and they just pick like a carry mid-tier like Morphling?
I think there's still going to be mid-sanking because Broodmother does not have spiders until level 6.
Yeah, but the lane should be pretty difficult for Brood. Still, because like you have this like 50 seconds cooldown on the first play, I think, or 45.
Yeah, and I would think that Sand King could just like burrow strike as soon as Insatiable Hunger comes up. That burns off a few seconds of the buff. Caustic poke her a little bit.
Like for me, the answer to dealing with Brood is a hero that can not only clear the spiders, but can stand there consistently.
Yeah.
Like you want to be able to push out the lane, not, oh, push into the tower, I'm going to push it out.
Yeah.
You're never going to get away that way. Like you're going to be able to push it to her tower and get some attention yourself. Which I think
You push it
Sanking's
to
really
her
good.
tower, she goes around,
Cuts the
skips,
creep wave.
yeah.
That's true. That's a good point.
Tidehunter is pretty much always banned from what I've seen from other regions when there's a Broodmother.
What about
Like-
Axe?
Axe is fine. Axe is also good. You want to have a hero that like doesn't die, that you can't threaten with the Spiderling. So I think these two heroes are very
Or
good.
Magnus.
Magnus is also good.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
So not sure where this Magnus is gonna go. They could swap things around. I really like a mid Magnus. I think he's a viable hero that scales with the items. Echo Saber's still popular.
I hate offlane Magnus.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of
Like
that.
the hero just scales so well with items because sure you can empower your carry, but you're still getting way more benefits from it. So
No,
if you're an offlane Magnus,
I'm expecting mid because didn't Can't Touch Me play Mirana offlane in one of his games?
He did. In
But
one
I
of
would
them.
much rather see Sanking offlane than Mirana 4. His Mirana performance that game was... I think he played really well, he just can't do anything.
Yeah, the hero just is not built to deal damage quite yet.
I guess we're going Neon then. Rubik always loses.
Rubik is kind of always on the loser side.
Yeah.
This hero...
It did win with that 5-position Tiny that we saw yesterday, though.
That's true.
I don't know if
Yeah,
that
because it was
counts.
5 Tiny.
It was
Tiny
5.
5 is a bit OP.
Yeah, it's pretty broken. Yeah.
So what are we looking at? Like, these 3 heroes just feel like they don't do anything to me.
PA Max Sand King.
This looks like
Like
a really
Enchantress,
strong...
Broodmother, Rubik. These heroes like are very good at running away. Like they're not even speedy. Enchantress is, but their heroes are good at dying. Like these heroes are very easily killed. What
That's
I'm
true.
trying
Yeah,
to
I feel
say.
like they have inferior teamfight, inferior split pushing,
Yep.
inferior laning even. Like
Enchantress is a strong laner. Rubik is really not. Broodmother is, depends what she's playing into. But if I'm playing a game and I see these 3 heroes,
you're abandoning
I'm like,
again.
no, I'm not
Gentleman
a
agreement?
no, I'm,
Gentleman's agreement.
if I'm Radiant, if I'm OB.Neon, I'm like, guys, this is going to be an easy one for us.
Yeah, just
Like,
play standard, relax. I mean, I don't know, like this Eng, it's going to be 5 most likely.
Yeah.
The Rubik pickup, and you don't want to play into Mirana. Whether it's 4 or 3, doesn't matter. So that lane should be pretty hard for O'Mega. We'll have to see what their support is. Like, PA is probably not that good against Brood, but once she has items, should be pretty easy for her as well.
Also, there's very limited lockdown. Even, like, Rubik is basically all the stuns, and he has to steal stuns, which there are many good spells to steal. Burrow Strike, even Empower will be pretty nice to steal. But Smart Omega's support duo seems kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, and PA just wrecks these 2 supports too hard. Like, 1 crit, Eng is dead, 1 crit, Rubik is dead. They just have no hero to threaten, and they have 4 seconds left on their bonus time. I'm pretty sure they're not very happy with their draft either.
Yep.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be taking so much time.
Ban out Grimstruck would have been a good support to deal with
For
the
sure.
Broodmother.
and a good laning partner with the Phantom Assassin, hero that scales well, great setup for Sand King, great setup for Magnus later on. They ban Faceless Void. I don't think they would pick Faceless Void, to be honest. They have
be
literally
atrocious.
0 damage
into
inside a
Chrono.
Chrono. Like no one, it's even worse than the one we had with Weaver plus Faceless Void, where
That's
Weaver
right.
can deal damage inside a Chrono if it's not placed correctly, especially with the level 25 talent that we also seen in that game.
Yeah. I feel like the only carry, like something like a Spectre needs to happen here, I think. Some answer all kind of hero. What else is there?
Something that's a
tough
good
last pick.
carry-to-carry matchup against PA, Troll,
Banned out.
banned out.
They're still Terror Blade, but it's pretty risky against Sanky Mirana lane.
No, man, clock's ticking. They do not
4
have much
seconds.
reserve time.
4, 3.
What do they got?
Life
Life Stealer.
Against PA is actually bad. That's really bad.
That's why I took the time to just reevaluate everything I know. He can build into MKB, okay, but it takes a lot of time.
And they have RP that goes through Rage already.
Yep. They have a lot of ways to kite this Life Stealer.
And Lifestealer hates heavy physical damage. Magnus and PA both have so much of it. I mean, probably Neon, being Neon, is just going to put Magnus 5 now and ruin everything. But
What about some good old position 5 Wyvern here? You have another way
Ooh.
of setting
Don't like
things
that.
up, but they will swap
It's
things around.
actually
So
a
it's a Mag 5.
5 Mag.
5 Mag.
Why did they have to do this? Like the
Because
lineup
they're
looks so good.
Neon.
Like Magnus lanes really well into the Void Spirit. you
Yep.
Free farm completely. Just pick a good 5.
They wanted to have something against the Life
Wait, it's a
Stealer.
bit Sand King now.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you thinking was going to be mid?
I actually thought, I mean, Slaughter middle would make a lot of sense to me too against his Void Spirit.
It's okay, but it's going to be
But I guess-
the offlane one against the Life Stealer.
How is
Nah,
that matchup now, actually, after all the Lifestealer buffs?
He can't trade.
You still can't trade?
Nah, you can't. It's too much damage coming up from Bash. Now
Lizard,
you have.
I
Okay.
want to know. I want to know if Lizard may have a different outlook on this mid Sand King. Are we still very, very bitter on mid
Just
Sand
him?
King? Or what? Yeah, just him. Because
yeah,
just
because
him.
I'm sorry. You can.
You can tell me about this 5 mag afterwards. But first, I want to hear about mid Sand King.
Look, I agree with Black and what he's saying, or I don't know if he said it on this panel, but before, back historically, if he buys that BKB early on, if he itemizes to survive, then it's all right. It can work. He's also laning into a melee Void Spirit, so why the hell not? I like the Slardar versus Lifestealer as well. Even with the changes, you still dominate that lane. Magnus 5, though...
No. B-Cop answers that question. Let's not get too big for our britches here, Lizard.
I'm back.
Mag 5, what's your opinion of this hero?
Mag 5, I like to see it again. PA's got the personal empower.
It's true.
You come with me, Magnus. Here you go. Empower me. Thanks.
You're beautiful. You
I'm
can
beautiful.
do it.
I can do
You'll
it.
cast well.
Okay.
And I think we need to
So
say
empowered.
Yo, you're
Feeling
my personal
so
Magnus.
empowered.
All right. See, like it works all the time. Now I feel empowered. I'm ready to go.
Are we 5 neons?
yeah.
It's feeling like
I'm
5 neons.
I'm Neon. Yeah, it's too much. PA,
Too much.
PA Mag plus Slardar, too much damage.
Or it's too little from Smart O'Mega. What is that draft?
I don't know. But we will have to find out in the cast for game number 1 with B-Cop and Lizard.
Nice. Game number 1. I feel good to cast. They didn't predict, so they're already out of the running.
No, they did. They said 5 neons.
Oh, okay.
So they predicted for all of us pretty much.
Yeah.
Which...
That's fair.
Yeah, it's fair. I can agree with them. I do like what the Broodmother on the offlane brings, but is it enough? Does the Broodmother offlane really win the game versus Slardar Magnus PA? That looks very scary.
Yeah, it really does. Because I worry about the mid Sand King sometimes, but I'm like, oh, there's a lot more here. It feels great to have this mid Sand King with possible follow-up RP and other things to really bring their way. Like I don't know. I'm excited to see it. I just don't know if the Brood's going to be enough. We'll see. We've seen Broods do better things.
You can... You know, historically, you could even put Sand King versus Brood. Like that's also an option.
Yeah.
Probably will not happen here. We'll see that Sand King going mid, rolling down, chilling, having that caustic finale, pushing in the lane, taking the water runes. That's what he likes to do, get a lot of farm. But when things go badly or poorly, you can always put the Sand King versus Brood, use the same caustic finale versus the Broodlings, have a good life, maybe have a 5-man smoke, because this is Filipino on Filipino. It's the Rambulan that we're having, and Yopaj on Sand King, he's our idol, man, and he's doing it.
Yeah, I've doubted him in the past, saying that, I can't see him winning as the Sand King, but...
What do you mean? You can't see him now. Okay.
But now I can see it. Last time, because I doubted him last time, and then he won.
Oh wait, our Broodmother has a very peculiar web here around the mid lane.
30 seconds.
But I still believe Max should be playing mid, right? Sam H will just rotate on the offlane. Yeah, that's how it looks like. He also itemized for a stick on the Broodmother, so that means he wants to lane versus the PA.
Right.
Makes a ton of sense. Very smart from Smart O'Mega.
Ooh.
What, you didn't hear that one before?
Very smart.
What was that? Ooh.
I don't know. I like the word smart.
Wait, so how many? It's more like Omega lol, less Omega, or very smart from Smart Omega have Black and Lacoste made so far? Not too many.
Not too many.
Yeah. Okay.
I was thinking about it in my head the other day when they were playing really well. Omega, they are the smart Omega.
Yeah. So we have the Enchantress coming on the offlane actually together with the Brood. So once again we'll see CML. He plays 5 usually, but he can start on the offlane. And what's going to be nice here is he'll be able to enchant off the Empower as well. So that's pretty solid.
Restarting their net. Alright, 3 heroes disconnecting. Maybe not the quickest of pauses. I always say quick pause, and then I got told, how do you know it's quick?
You know, one thing that I hate in this life is when I start the game and people DC instantly. I know it's not the case here, but usually it's like there's one guy in every single pub. He joins the game, and then DCs the same minute. And then you have to wait for him for another 2-3 minutes. Why did you queue?
Yeah.
Just do your stuff before you queue, dude.
Got to take out the trash. It's like, then why did you queue? Just take out the trash. The trash, thank you.
Exactly. Or time your stuff. I've become one with the queue. I know exactly how much time approximately I need.
Yeah.
And I do all my stuff. And then when I come back, the accept button is there.
Right on time. I had it the other day where I was trying to give someone the benefit of the doubt. They disconnected, and they said they had to restart, and the other team was unpausing. And, they unpaused like 3 or 4 times. We tried to keep it paused. Then, obviously, we ran out of pauses, which is annoying. Guy on the other team said, I don't have enough time for a pause. Well, if you don't have enough time for a pause, I don't know if you should be queuing for a game in the first place. But then, a guy on their team, 30 minutes into the game, they DC'd. That's one of the better feelings when you're like, spamming F9 and you're just trying to unpause the game. Didn't pause for my team.
What goes around comes around.
Yeah. And then, it always feels good to just get that unpause going, and then we get to push. But I usually, my go-to comment is, what are you, scared of my insert rank here, Mars, beating you guys?
So you're trying to play the ego game a little bit. I see.
You guys should be able to win 5v5. You think you're so good, I think you guys are good. You could do it.
Are you the kind of a player or not when you're playing 4v5 that you stay until the bitter end? Because I am. Like, I always stay. I'm going to be that annoying little brat that defends until you take the throne, even if he's playing 1v5. Dude, I had so many Dota 1 days when I would actually win the game 1 versus 5 because I would be able to micro all 5 heroes and win.
I can't do that, but I just wait and people just go, all right, this, we're not winning anything from this. Might as well just go.
Yeah, that's also true.
Then they leave. But it's always nice to just wait them out.
Yeah. Sometimes you can win even 4v5.
Problem is, I'm always playing a support, so it's like I'm not the guy.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Doing the heavy lifting there.
Yeah, that's a problem. And for Neon, I don't think. Oh, there we go. 2 of them reconnecting.
Okay, and then a disconnect from the Void Spirit.
And then Void Spirits.
Smart
yeah,
O'Mega.
Yeah.
He's out.
This is. I understand them. They're playing versus a Brood. You want to DC a little bit. You don't really want to play against the Brood, so. They will come back though, and now Void Spirit is the one, man. I have a Brood in my team. I'm gonna be playing 4v5 the whole game while he farms the jungle. Doesn't feel great. But on real talk now, Brood has been very successful on the Radiant side because you can play around Rosh Pit way easier. I'm looking forward to seeing how O'Mega, who did win with Brood before, do on offlane Brood on the Dire side.
No, I'm trying to wonder here how many times have we seen Dire Brood in the offlane compared to Radiant Brood in the offlane? I feel like we've seen it Dire, right?
Exactly. I've only seen the Brood on Radiant once, pretty much, on the offlane, and it won. It dominated. All the other games were... Is he gonna get skewered? Nah, he's fine.
He was thinking about it. He gave that little... He ducked the head a little bit, feinted the skewer.
Yeah. It's not the easiest thing to skewer the Brood, right? Because it's pretty easy for him to be mobile around the webs and just dodge that out. Plus there's Enchantress there with the slow, so things should be pretty simple for them.
It's crazy how much Enchantress does. I feel like this is a hero that outputs so much from a 5 position. I might go from an AA spammer to an Enchantress spammer because I watch just the impetus shots. You can make the heroes opposing you very uncomfortable in lane.
I would actually suggest you to learn Ench because it's going to make you a better player overall, as you'll have you'll have a creep that you have to control too. So overall, it just makes you a better player. So when you return to that AA, you might even be bored a bit.
Yeah, well, I think the first few games with Enchantress might be me just pressing Enchant on the enemy heroes.
People that want to improve just don't push themselves hard enough.
Get out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, you need to get out of your comfort zone, do something that's much harder, and then return to your normal heroes, and it will all look much easier.
Yeah, there was a time where I was just pressing the random button. That was all I would do. I'd play as a 5-stack, and we'd all press random, which, I mean, I guess we could just play all random. But
yeah, why did you do that?
I think the fun of pressing the button was the fun of pressing the button was a little bit more exciting.
Don't lie. You wanted the extra gold and the fairy fires later on. That was the case. But back to this game, Brood so far is doing pretty well. 13 last hits. Mid lane, Void Spirit isn't suffering at all against the Sand King. Pretty much the same, but you expect Sand King to be maybe pressuring a little bit harder. Top lane Tino is actually dropping a bit low, but it's a lifestealer with Bracer, so He moves back, he gets solved up by Shanks.
Yeah, they're still dealing with a couple tangos in this lane, so their regen isn't completely depleted just yet. We haven't seen much of this Slardar, but John Well gets the kill on a CML. Finally gets that Enchantress. Doesn't take the Empower just yet, just working with that Skewer and the Shockwave.
He actually had 7 stick charges on Magic Stick that were left unused on Ench.
Is there a time where you just think, maybe if I hold the stick charges for a different fight, like I'm dead here
for
regardless?
First blood. Yeah, not for First Blood, not in these early stages of the game. In these early stages of the game, you almost definitely need to use it.
Right.
But it happens, it happens. Enchantress is extremely squishy early on. So that's the problem.
Yeah, once you get that untouchable is really where Enchantress starts to shine, I think. We've been seeing a lot of Enchantresses go heavy into like the enchant, 1 point into the Nature's Attendants, going 1 point into the untouchable, obviously at 6. And that's a point where if you are this Enchantress, you start to feel deceivingly tanky.
Yeah, you get a couple of items, untouchable, level 6 like you said, and it all gets better and better, but the problem is the main point of Enchantress is dominating the lane.
Yeah.
That's where you really want to shine.
So you can get that quick medallion, maybe even that quicker Solar Crest if you do well.
Heroes that have built-in mobility like Magnus and PA are a little bit harder to deal with. As you can see right here, they go on her.
Yeah, CML getting chased. Some webs down Sam H with the Insatiable Hunger, but Skewer back now under the tower for a couple shots. It doesn't hurt too bad. And when you've got the Insatiable Hunger, you're life stealing pretty well already, so that's fine.
It's the hunger, plus Silk and Bola, which pretty much makes Natsumi not be able to hit the Enchantress. So it's like a couple of things that make life very, very difficult for Natsumi.
I wonder if this game screams sharp for Sam H. That 80% miss chance.
It's pretty solid versus the PA. She misses you, you miss her. It's the perfect
Everybody's
relationship.
swinging, nobody's hitting. I honestly wouldn't not want to see that. I'd love to see
baby, baby, I miss you too, you know, that kind of thing.
And somebody hits and the song changes.
So far, Slardar is actually doing all right as well.
Good skewer again onto Sam H. It's still a very hard kill to get.
I don't think you have a kill opportunity here anymore. Not until PA 6. So
yeah, unless Insatiable Hunger's on cooldown, I don't think you're getting that kill.
He has 20 magical charges, Fairy Fire.
Yeah, he's fine.
Like he's
More
not
than
dying.
fine.
Too much regen from the web as well, so just gonna chill there.
This Void Spirit of Mac has done a lot better in the lane than I thought he would. You usually see Yopaj kind of dominate the lane, especially against melee hero on the Sand King.
Yeah, he's actually farming the stacks right now, but Rubik is smart enough to stick around, get a couple of experience points stolen from the Sand King. Now they secure the top rune for him as well, so Yopaj is doing all right, but maybe we expected him to be pressuring Mac a bit harder.
Yeah. Joel in trouble. Max made the rotation. Doesn't hit the Aether Remnant, but the impetus shot with the Shockwave coming through from that Satyr, and they don't chase.
They don't chase?
They didn't have anything left from Mac except to dissimulate.
Very interesting. Bottom lane, Natsumi. He's actually
getting chased by Sam H. Trying to survive. They finally bring over Yopaj. This might get them a kill. Sam H with all these spider wings doing a lot of damage to Natsumi, who just jukes away, gets a stifling dagger out onto Sam H. Yopaj lands the Burrow Strike, and he finally gets the kill on the Broodmother. That was a great play from Natsumi.
Man, Natsumi, it was a little bit of a great play, definitely, but also a little bit of luck. They're surviving with just a sliver of HP, and that's the best feeling.
They want CTM. Shanks coming around. But he goes north. All right, he's got an Astral Step. I thought for a second he might have juked him out completely. Aether Remnant, Dissimulate, that's all lined up. Telekinesis, and there's the kill.
I actually love how Mac was standing there. He wasn't moving. Like, usually you see players just move towards where they think he is, but he just stood there in the crossroads, waiting to see which way he's gonna go, because he knew, okay, I have 2 teammates here. There is no necessity for me to just run and continue chasing.
Yeah, I don't need to lose out on finding this kill.
Pretty well played by them. Did rotate a couple of heroes top for that kill, but it's definitely worth it. Jopar.
Looking for the epicenter. Burrow strike coming through. Arrow thrown. That lands from Play Hard, and this is crucial. You got 2 kills on a Broodmother very early, a hero that really wants to get the ball rolling quickly, and yeah, you can recover his Brood, but the more and more you get these early kills...
You don't want to be in the recovery mode.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, if you're a Broodmother, you actually want to be doing Brood things, and that's pressuring constantly. But this Blink Dagger on Yopaj definitely makes that a bit more difficult to do. Oh, nice.
Burrow strike away?
Yeah, nice Burrow strike. Last millisecond, pretty much.
So we haven't gotten a Sand King game together, and I've been wanting to ask you this question because I've asked it to Black and Lacoste. What are your thoughts on the build that we see these mid Sand Kings go for? Blink, Boots, Travel.
Well, I play a lot of Sand King, and it happens to me that I'm playing offlane or mid, and I buy this Blink, and then I get a couple of good rotations, and I get baited into that Travels so easily.
Right.
Because your point of view is, I'm very mobile, I'll be able to farm the side lane and join every single fight that I want to. I want to be at every single fight, but I also want to be able to split push. There were many examples of mid laners going for Travels in the past as well. There are problems to it though, because if you aren't executing properly in a way that you're using your Blink plus Epi every time it's off cooldown and you get a kill, you can just die in the sandstorm while you're chilling around the fight. You don't have any save, you don't have Yules, you don't have Lotus, you haven't itemized defensively into a 4-staff, even nothing like that. Black has a pretty good idea with the BKB, I like it a lot. But what I like even more is just tankiness, utility items that make you naturally tankier.
And I think as CML dives to CTM, I think you kind of have that from the offlane where you can go utility if you're this mid Sand King in this game.
Yep.
You can be that guy who gets utility because I don't think Slardar wants to go utility.
Actually, Slardar is going utility, at least it looks like that for now. He's buying 2 bracers into a hood. So because of that, you can do the exact opposite by the Sand King. So it will work out.
So this time Sand King doesn't have to go utility, he can, but you have options, right?
You have options, exactly. Some Crimson Guard is an item that I would definitely consider on a Sand King in a game such as this one. It's actually pretty fine versus the Brood, versus everything. Even though Brood deals most damage with Silk and Bola and the magic attacks, but it's still solid. And they smoke up once again.
CML might be the one who breaks this smoke.
Yeah, that's
They've got vision of him, so they can avoid him.
Man, he was actually doing the right thing, moving down south, but opted not to. Because of that, Sam H might die.
Yeah, this is actually unfortunate, but ooh, Sam H gets away. The Spiderlings don't.
That's some.
It's a good amount of gold.
That's some good amount of gold.
Good
for,
gold
for
injection.
Play hard, yeah. Yopaj got a little bit, but Mirana too. And the main point is you're slowing down the Brood.
Yeah.
Every time you kill the spiders, you really slow her down quite a bit. But Sam H is also satisfied because he did not die.
So, going back to just the discussion with like the Slardar and the Sand King, is that what we're not seeing from these lineups? Is just like the options to have these heroes for certain things? Mid, Phantom Assassin getting blown up by that Fable. They go to the epicenter. It's doing a lot of damage. They finally take out CML. They look over at Mac. They'll get 2. Shank's now in the Sandstorm. But I don't know if they quite care.
They don't
might
have
look
detection.
for him.
They don't have detection, but he
walks
moves out.
He walks out right next to them,
Yeah,
and that gives Yopaj the double.
Yeah, they just put the sentry down. So Januel just went close enough, put the sentry down. Because of that, you have to get out.
Right under the tower.
Yeah,
The sentry.
He doesn't care. He knows that Rubik is dead the moment you put the sentry. Interesting play, by the way. They baited on Natsumi, and I think that he thought that they'll be able to react a little bit faster and save him. Because you don't really want to be feeding your PA for any kills. But it still works out fine, and they did make a lot of stacks for him. The power is there, so he's living life.
So I'm just looking at what we've seen Sand King with. Neon played it with the off-lane Mirana. He might just die here. trying to run Moonlight Shadow, but they've got the vision with the dust. They'll take out this Magnus. It's Tino finally getting on the
I don't
board.
think I've ever seen someone take the Augur Bruiser. The Enchantress has that enchanted. And
Bash
Mac,
and the arrow. There's no chance to get out. They have such good setup for the arrow in this game.
they just have such cookie cutter lineup when it comes to stuns and setups. It's just so easy to execute, and it looks like something you'd recommend to your noob friends if they played Captain's Mode. Just pick Mirana, Slardar, Sand King. Like, you can't miss all of the stuns.
Lockdown wins games.
Exactly. They have a lot of very easy AoE lockdown. So, looking good for them at the moment.
Yeah, Yopaj sitting top of the net worth. He's up there by quite a margin over the next one on O'Mega, which is actually Sam H, who, even though he died twice, is top of it on his team.
Because he's completely left alone. Like, you might gank him once or twice, but he's farming the small camp, the hard camp, and the lane. So, and he farms extremely fast as a Broodmother. And this is pretty much what he needed to do. And it's a little bit late, maybe a couple of minutes, only because he died before. But he is pressuring the tower, and they did miss him with the smoke.
Dire's top tower has fallen. Radiant's bottom tower.
Yeah, they miss him with that smoke. Can kind of clean up bottom a little bit, but it looks like O'Mega are starting to group together a little bit to maybe make a move.
This is really good from O'Mega. They're finally playing around the Brood. They're moving in. They don't necessarily have any big spells to work with, but if they execute properly, maybe they can take a good fight. The problem is, like, I feel Neon has everything that they need from O'Mega. I don't know what we're waiting for. What's the big item? Is it the mech on the Brood? Is it Lifestealer with Sange after Armlet? Is it something from the Void Spirit like the Yules? Like, none of these items really make a difference. You know, like, it's mostly levels and just playing properly, but nothing that they buy makes a huge difference, which does not sound great.
Yeah, just the Sange isn't going to be a big thing. Just the Yules, I'm not sure is going to really make a difference.
The Blink on Shanks probably is the biggest bump to their strength. Like, it buffs them up. Yeah. And he's 1k away. That's a problem when you're thinking that your Rubik position 4 is the one that should make the highest difference. Sam H caught.
Yeah, they've got the arrow to follow this up. Epicenter right on top. Sam H in trouble. Should die here after the Starstorm lands and one more click from Yopaj.
And then he obviously pings out the ward. Oh my god, they have the Tinker ward. When did they get that?
I'd like to see Tinker picked up so we can actually call it Tinker
Call it the
Wars.
Tinker ward, yeah. Can you... Okay, Yopaj misses this
short
one.
on the Burrow Strike.
Do you understand how much Tinker spammers hurt us when, like, 5 years after we're still calling it the Tinker ward? Do you understand what they did to us as Dota players? Like, they scarred me. They scarred me as much as techies.
They broke us mentally.
This should be easy rush as well.
Yeah, they've got the
Corrosive Haze.
Deso.
Yeah, Corrosive Haze, Deso, Mirana Arrow, Blightstone on Mirana.
Empower.
Everything is just coming together for Neon. Meanwhile, O'Mega...
They're not out of the starting gate, it feels like.
Exactly. And I don't know where the flight is taking them to. Yeah. They can get on it, but I don't know where it's going.
Yeah, their captain has no idea.
Just fly around.
Just flying around. We're circling right now.
They definitely do have chances with Brood getting that mech, a lot of sustain if they play around the bottom part of the map. The Infest on Void Spirit, easy initiation, but...
You're fighting into an Aegis now. That's a big risk unless you know you can win the fight. And the Enchantress gets caught. Like, this is an arrow that lands. CML dead. Play hard. He's gotten a couple kills with those arrows. He's 3-0-3 right now.
Yeah. CML overall is always in position to break the smoke or break the movement from Neon. So I know I sound like I'm just protecting him because I'm a feeder as well, but he's actually trying to break their movement and eat the gank.
Right.
There's not many better heroes than Enchantress to do that.
But they're coming over. They're looking for Tino. CTM, he doesn't have his Blink Dagger delivered yet. But if he gets into the middle of this fight, that could be a problem. Burrow Strike lands onto Shanks, Moonlight Shadow, Bash first hit, Slither and Crush to follow it up. They get the kill onto Shanks. Spiders hitting play hard, but that's not going to matter. RP in, do they get a crit? They've got the Skewer into the Dissimilate. Mac with an Astral Step out and an Aether Remnant to protect himself, so Natsumi doesn't get the kill as he doesn't get a crit. Now he gets a crit.
That's a nice thing, right? Like you force them to use that big RP, big cooldown, but that's a position 5 Magnus.
Yeah, they could still fight without it.
They can still fight without it because they have Slardar plus Sand King, 2 heroes that are very capable of locking people down long enough, and that same Slardar has a blink now too. So.
Yeah, he didn't have it in that last engagement. It was getting delivered to him, so you don't need to have the RP ready to go. Blink, Slither, and Crush is more than enough engagement because you'll have follow-up from Yopaj, most likely. And the way Neon is playing right now, they're grouped up pretty constantly.
Yeah, they are keeping up on Smart Omega, so that's positive, right?
Yeah.
Like your Lifestealer is 1-2K behind the PA, Brood as well from the Sand King, 1-2K, so the net worth at least isn't that significant.
Gets grabbed by the Aether Remnant, and now Burrow Strike picked up for the Rubik. I don't want to overhype that, but that's a big spell to have if you are the Rubik. Like that's a spell that could turn the game around because it gives you extra lockdown.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. It makes Rubik's life much better. The value of Rubik is now higher, better than Sandstorm at least.
Rubik's stonks are going up.
Yeah, exactly.
Then he loses it after he dies, and Rubik's stonks go down.
Exactly. You need to invest when he dies. That's the right way of doing it. Anyways, another infest. Can they catch anyone here?
Certainly makes sense with the fact that they've got the extra lockdown. Yeah, but play hard. Ooh, good Yules. Or actually, instead of the Yules coming out from Void Spirit, that was not a good Yules. I apologize.
Root has actually rotated in as well. They still have Aegis, remember. And this pretty much tells you the full story, because they just got a pick-off on a position 4, and they still can't fight. They're still running away. Even though they didn't use anything big. Just the infest, right?
Yeah.
But you still can't fight.
You get the pick-off, that's something that... Oh, Skewer with the RP? No, he didn't go off with it. He held the RP. Now they're going to jump forward. Burrow Strike from Shanks. It's onto the Phantom Assassin, taking a lot of damage. Gets lifted up into the sky, and they'll take the Aegis. That was some quick damage onto the Phantom Assassin. Burrow Strike from Yopaj will get the kill on a Mac. They look over now with the Moonlight Shadow, so O'Mega kind of losing vision of these heroes. Slither and Crush avoided with the Rage. Stifling Dagger, some right clicks onto Tino.
Burrow Strike, it's on, but...
Natsumi needs to be careful. Oh, there's the RP. That's what they were holding with Shanks with the Burrow Strike. 2-man Burrow coming in from Yopaj.
Ah, that was
brave.
RP. Yeah, that was so brave from the Rubik. As he Burrow Strikes, he steals the RP, but he just dies way too soon. And that's the problem of not having Gator Lance, not having Blink, not having any mobility item, being a little bit behind on that position 4. Because of that, if he has one of those items, I'm sure that he can play it a little bit differently. Maybe Burrow Strike in, steal it, blink out, and then go in.
Yules. This time a good Yules, because it's, you know, still that Void Spirit's Yules, but it's not making it so they miss a stun.
O'Mega definitely are showing some teeth. They're teething a little bit. Their draft is
slowly coming back.
They're no longer toddlers. They can bite a little bit, and
they're learning to walk.
They're learning to walk. It's looking better. A Basher, I believe, will be completed on the Lifestealer very soon. He's a recipe away, pretty much.
Phantom Assassin going Basher as well.
Yeah, and PA is one item ahead.
Has the Sanjanyasha, yeah.
That's the power of Magnus 5. He just keeps your cores one item ahead all the time because of the Empower. So much easier for him to farm, so much easier for him to play team fights.
Southern Crush coming through. Oh, gosh. That damage with the Corrosive Haze is not fun.
Even without the Corrosive Haze, PA pretty much kills Ench in one crit. The problem is you need to hit her because of the Untouchable, but you get some bonus attack speed, Phantom Strike is there, and Ench is just free food for PA.
Yeah. Sam H into the trees. Can they find him? Oh, they got him! With the arrow! Epicenter, Slither and Crush. That was really impressive.
That's a lot of hate for a Brood, but Brood players usually do deserve it. He was very unfortunate there, though. That TP was so close to be finalized by...
You could see the process going through Yopaj's mind. He's like, if I don't see him and Sardar doesn't see him, by reasonings in my mind, he must be here. Burrow strike, go. Anyway,
It took him like a second and a half, you know, to connect all the dots.
Yeah.
He had that meme, you know, like
the numbers going by.
the numbers
yeah.
going by, exactly. This one is a bit easier.
Yeah,
Don't blame.
Yule's Burrow strike, arrow. Ooh, okay. Yule's from the Void Spirit to avoid it.
That arrow was so close. That arrow
The
almost
point
connected.
was almost, you know.
Infest mid
Oh,
lane.
does that creep get away? Yes, it does. Okay. They've got the Basher now. Maybe
Also,
not next time.
You can see the Sand King after the Eul's, he actually itemized into a Sanj. So some status resistance here.
Kaya-san.
That's sure. Why not? He's not really being contested at the moment, so
Burrow strike again. Slytherin Crush with the bash. Arrow this time connects.
this is actually a very interesting build from Sand King as well. You don't really see Veil that often any longer, but the hero dishes out a ton of damage in the Sandstorm and with Epicenter. He's still really strong. He also has Nether Shawl, so that's, I mean, I'm not a mad certified person like Lacoste, you know,
Yeah.
but I think it's a lot. It's a lot of damage.
Bash and the crit. Okay. Okay. That's the worst feeling as a support. I think it's actually one of the worst feelings.
Playing versus PA,
Just getting crit
yeah,
for your entire HP pool.
it's not fun.
Natsumi again, he doesn't have an Aegis to work with, but the RP, it comes in. They've got the stun onto the life stealer. The arrow follows it up. The right clicks in. Is it going to be enough? The skewer that was stolen, but now they've got 3 kills. 4 heroes dead. They'll call GG. And Neon will take game 1.
Yep. I really have to say that they let the Broodmother go through, and it worked out for them.
Yeah.
Because the rest of Omega's draft did not look as sick, as good as before. I want to see something a little bit more synergizing in a way, perhaps. Like some Slardar PA, that's old school. That's easy to execute. That's easy to make work. But what they had is, it just doesn't work together, not with the Brood.
Yeah, and what Neon brought was options. I think sometimes it's a little bit too much on the Sand King. I like that they had options and right clickers as well. Like, you're not as reliant on the Sand King. Some lineups, it's just like, well, now what do I do as a Sand King? Well, you know, your Burrow Strike was enough. It was enough because you have follow-up. You have the Slytherin Crush. You have the toggled crits when you're a Phantom Assassin.
You had so many things going for you.
Yeah.
You really did.
Some of these lineups with Sand King don't have those options. That was, I think, the perfect lineup to really make the Sand King excel. So Neon, they take the lead 1-0 over Smart O'Mega. And to break it down a little bit further, we've got the panel. So back over to you guys.
They forgot the most important option, which is if you want your series to be quick, just have Lizard cast it. Guaranteed 25 minutes or less GGs. That's the Admir guarantee, because poor Neon. I need to figure out how good they are. And if Omega's drafting these games that can't even play Dota, how am I supposed to figure out how good Neon are?
Just figure it out.
Just figure it out? Is it that easy?
You know, the simplest thing to say is this one was on the draft. It's always something that we as
always
an
on the draft.
analyst, yeah, we can always blame it. But this time around, it was on the
It
draft.
was
It
really on
really
the
was
draft.
on the draft. I don't know how you're supposed to play Dota. By play Dota, I mean, what's the purpose of the heroes that you picked? If the laning stage doesn't go well, if you lose your tier 1, tier 2 tower, how do you play? How do you come back into the game? Like, what is the plan? Like, Lifestealer gets the farm and then you right-click people down? Because this Enchantress plus Rubik duo just doesn't strike me as good. Like, when I first saw 3 heroes, there was also a Broodmother. Like, you have no stuns. These heroes are very easily killed, especially against the Phantom Assassin. She's just gonna thrive. Like, you have no escape mechanism whatsoever. 1 dagger, 1 jump from Phantom Assassin, and you're done.
Very quick game highlights, about 30 seconds.
One Lacoste monologue worth of highlights, and that's it. Black, we can get now your beautiful face and we hear your insight onto the game.
I mean, there's really not much to say, unfortunately. I wish there was more to say, but really, Omega, that's on you. maybe next time you should pick something that actually lets you, have a chance at winning.
Sure.
You see a lineup and you go, all right, these two lineups, they're both decent because they have a lot of boxes checked.
What do you think O'Mega thought after that draft? Yeah, our lineup is pretty good, guys. Let's go.
Probably not.
I'm really worried if they say that because there are a lot of flaws in what they just drafted. Sometimes, I don't want to be too negative, but I feel like if you ran them, you might end up with a better draft.
Oh my
than
god,
this.
you don't want to be too negative, and that's what you say to not be too negative?
Trust me, I can go pretty ham on some of these drafts.
Okay, let's just say like what happened here realistically, right?
Yeah.
Like Sam H was like, I want to play Broodmother. CML
That's
was like, I
fine.
want to play Eng.
That's
and then
fine.
Wow, they picked Magnus. Okay, Shanks is like, okay, I want to play Rubik. Can get some good steals, and then I want to play Lifestealer. Like, what do you want to play?
I don't think he wanted to play Lifestealer. They were running low on reserve time. It's
Yeah.
possible.
I mean, they
It's
had
entirely
3
possible they were just panicking.
Even the Void Spirit looked panicked already.
Yeah.
Didn't really make a whole lot of sense. But then again, what really salvages a draft like that? Like, your supports are just bad together. There's like, usually say, oh, the support duo is really good, but what duo? There's like,
This is
guy
not
that-
even a duo. This is two heroes
synergy.
that just exactly like they're not complementing each
Yeah,
other
it's
nicely.
true.
Both of them
you
have
could
this.
telekinesis into a centaur stomp.
Just imagine the gang. like Eng plus Rubik. Like, all right, the 2 supports are off map. Oh yeah, I'm really scared. It's gonna impetus. What was it?
You got it on the third one.
impetus.
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 There was another one that you were mispronouncing recently. I forgot what it was. Do you want me to tell you these things?
Of
'Cause-
course.
Okay, good. Because that's
I
what
like
I've
to
learned.
learn English.
Most English second language, third language kind of people, like, they don't consider it like an insult when you're like, oh, you mispronounced it. They're like, yes, please tell me.
Yeah,
so I
'cause
don't
they
wanna
continue
learn, right?
mispronouncing it. Okay, good to know.
Yeah. Especially
We're
from
here
an
to
American.
learn.
But if
For
you're
sure.
not an American, maybe I'll be like, what do you know, bro?
You don't even know how to spell aluminum. Like, I'm not trusting you for anything.
But to be more positive about everything, Neon, they made this one look easy. They open up with the similar stuff, Sanking plus Mirana. When they have these two heroes, they play very active on the map. And this time around, it was a mid-Sanking, 7-minute Blink Dagger. I don't mind that. I've been very also critical about mid-Sanking, but this time around you have super late game carry. In Phantom Assassin, you have Slaughter that can scale from the offlane as well. And then, like, you can see the power of their lineup. They take one good fight near the Roche. It's just Enchantress plus 1 kill that the hero was already respawning. They go inside the pit. They take the first Aegis. It's just a draft.
Mid-Sand was so good that we're going to give him the MVP for game number 1 to Yopaj. Rare instance where we see Mid-Sand actually end the game at a time where Mid-Sand probably has its power spike. And even then, it was kind of not going BKB, which this game he didn't need to. But I know, I'm with you, Black. If they pick Mid-Sand again, game number 2, and O'Mega decide to actually play Dota in game number 2, I'm not going to be as confident.
No. You say power spike, just wait until you see the level 25 Sanking with the, what is it, 50% miss chance? Sandstorm?
Storm
Sure.
slow
That
and
is
Yeah.
ridiculously
It is good.
broken.
it is a super good talent.
Yeah, it's like you can't fight without MKB or BKB or Bloodthorn.
So you're saying Midas on Mid-Sand
No, thank
That's
you.
the way to get there?
No.
The way to get to 25?
Never do it.
Never
His
do
talents
it.
are good. His talents are really good. Like once you get like 4 or 5 items, he's gonna scale and with levels. Like if you can get Octarine Core, maybe Kaya Sanj to amplify that damage, -2 seconds on the burst, right? Combine that with Octarine Core somehow, as you mentioned, get to that level 25. Like he can scale, but it's still, compared to some other mid laners, he's like in the mid tier, maybe even lower tier in terms of scaling.
How about you do some bad red attack? You like 7 stacks Ancients, very easy to farm with your Caustic and your Sandstorm,
I like it.
and you just complete the snowball of that. We haven't really seen anyone abuse that yet,
Not
but you
yet.
can really kill Ancients very easily.
Well, we're still not sure about Mid-Sand quite yet, even after a quick 1-0 victory from Neon. But one thing I am sure is that we will have at least a game 2, and it will be brought to you by PGL, HyperX, and the top pro-level support of Secret Lab. Cheers. Hop over to a quick break where you can watch those commercials, and then we will be back with more Neon versus O'Mega.
change of range.
See that chair on the right? That's the secret lab O'Mega. And unlike Smart O'Mega, it'll never let you down. I'm sorry. that was unnecessary. That was a little bit too harsh. Smart O'Mega, they were a lower division promotion team, you know? The OB.Neon top 6 Singapore major. Of course they're going to be out of their depth. Although hopefully they will pick 5 heroes that actually can do something as a unit. That you can always fix, you know? It's not even like anything got banned out that they're like, oh no. My favorite hero got banned.
It can be fixed if they recognize that this was just a huge mistake, what they drafted themselves into, and then you can't make any aggressive plays. I guess it's Broodmother, she'll be annoying. We'll win the lanes with our heroes. Like, Rubik's not a lane winner, especially when he's paired up with Broodmother. He needs another stun. He needs some kind of a slow. What are you laughing at?
Rubik Brood sounds.
Yeah, Rubik Brood just sounds terrible.
But then they put Eng Brood instead, and Eng got first blooded.
Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah,
just as bad, to be
This is
honest.
also true.
That's also correct.
Bristleback, Elder Titan banned out. Smart O'Mega pick up a puck. Ban out the puck and the Sand King. Just go for like a Darkseer or Nyx Assassin opening. How are you going to go wrong with that?
Sure, if you have Darkseer plus Nyx, you're always going to have like strong combo to execute.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. Like, I think Darkseer has a lot of potential. Every single time I see this hero, I go like, sure, this is good. A lot of team fight can be punished in the laning stage, but he always finds the farm. Like, you might give enemy safe laner farm, but you will also find farm.
But the thing is, you know, we try to focus on the positives. The positives is can't be worse than last game.
True.
Exactly.
So whatever they pick, no matter how hard it's countered,
Well,
it should be
let's
better.
not get ahead of ourselves, Black. We haven't seen a single hero on the board quite yet. And they are now going to be playing into an IO.
Please don't take bonus time. This is not surprising.
Maybe they're thinking, is it core IO or support IO?
They did not take bonus time.
They did not take bonus time, but they didn't pick anything like an AA or whatever.
Well, Mirana against Io. I'm just going to kill that Helm of Dominator creep. 550 MS.
Easy. Just need some stun set up on not a hero.
Yeah.
Helm of the Dominator also got a buff, because it's only 100 gold
Yep.
for that creep, which is pretty big. Before it was 200.
Which was also pretty big.
It was
In a different way.
big number, yeah. Depends which side you're on.
Stop trying to get his math certificate, Black. You're not going to get it. We only had the budget for one piece of paper.
And I paid the $400 for it. 300 because it's on discount right now.
You
First couple
couldn't
of
get the
weeks.
esports certificate, so you had to get a math certificate instead.
Early bird discount. Yeah.
Early bird discount. Hey, it's a support IO.
Or maybe not.
I mean, I would be hyped to see, like, what, a mid gyro? 5 gyro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mid gyro with IO core can be really strong.
But it's probably not going to happen.
But it's not going to happen.
What about some good old Legion Commander for OB.Neon? Great setup for relocate place. You have Presti attack against Marana. The hero doesn't die. You build into Hood. You're super tanky.
I like it. Or you can go the more offensive approach. Beastmaster with that combo is pretty tested and proven. But nobody really picks Beast anymore. We saw one Beast from Fnatic and that owned.
Yep.
Just with a good overall team fight draft. Was very good.
Offlane, no Aghanim Scepter. The hero's still viable.
Yeah, people just like, you know, this Aghanim build is not that strong anymore. We can't play him offline anymore. The boars are still really broken.
The boars are still broken. He still has his level 20 talent, giving you a 35-second cooldown, BKB piercing
40
Sable.
now.
Oh, it's 40. That's right. It
Sorry.
did get nerfed in 7.29c. Good point.
Let me stop you there. It is.
So you can still only use it twice.
But 5 seconds later, twice.
Guys, I got
I
Raw
got banned
5.
out.
Talking about the Beastmaster,
Oh, they
there
actually
he
banned it.
is.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an old school.
Well, they're
combo.
smart.
Relocate
Omega.
into, I mean, Aurora into relocate type of play. But this time around, Omega, they have Tiny, they have Mirana, they have heroes that can do stuff on the map. Just by seeing these two heroes, I'm gonna say that they have a better draft. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna pick in the next three
It's
heroes,
already
but-
better.
Yeah, but they can at least make stuff happen. They have some stuns. They can set things up. You can use Mirana's Moonlight Shadow. You can miss the arrow, hope that something's going to happen. But at least you're going to try.
I mean, one Avalanche is already more stunned than they had last game.
This is true.
Upgrade. I approve.
Although Broodmother is still in the pool, although I'm pretty sure they won't pick it into a gyrocopter. At least I hope they don't. Sam H is a very capable
Smart
player.
Omega
He doesn't need to be brooding it up.
They beat someone with Brood against Gyro. Wasn't
Was it
Fnatic?
yesterday? It was yesterday.
It was Fnatic, right?
Let me just check my book.
I think it was
It
Fnatic.
was
Oh, that's
Fnatic,
true. That was that was the
And
gyro
they
game for
played-
Raven.
Because Broodmother does well against it, from what I've seen from that game.
In the lane, at least.
Yeah. Like, once you hit level 6 on Broodmother, what is Io and Gyro going to do?
Yeah. I mean, we spoke about you need a hero can stand there, right? Gyro can maybe clear the spiders once, but then, oh, I'm going to hide in my trees. Hopefully he doesn't come for me.
Yo,
More stuns.
let's go. Ogre as
Omega smart, not the smartest hero, but,
But it's an
he
int
gets
hero.
the job done.
It's an int hero with a lot of strength gain. Kind of like Lizard.
and as of 3 days ago, Ogre had a 100% win rate in Upper Division with 9 games played.
All.
All Upper Division, all regions. So the hero's being slept on.
And it's good with Tiny.
Good with Tiny. If it's a one position Tiny, which I guess is you're
Or even
probably
two.
pretty sure. Or even two, yeah, a core Tiny. A right-clicking Tiny with the shard.
Ember Spirit. Okay. So Tiny does very well against Ember in the lane. So I'm expecting it to be mid-Tiny.
Okay.
And then offlane.
Offlane, anything tanky, anything that builds hood.
I like Legion.
I like Legion quite a lot because Ogre can be annoying. That Ignite can, like, it's one of the most annoying. Once you multicast that, it's like 20 seconds.
doesn't go away.
It never goes away.
Dragon Knight again. They have done it the last time.
Yeah, they like
It's,
this.
it's a good setup for Mirana as well. So
A lot of stuns. Every single hero has a stun this time around. So they completely shifted what they had in game number 1.
a lot of magic damage he's playing into though.
In the previous series, they picked the Legion Commander. Weren't you kind of critical of the DK going for a hood in the previous
Oh,
series?
he wasn't going. He had the one in a quick buy, and that's not a good sign. Even though he did not end up going for the hood, it was a bad sign. You
Is
know,
this
just
game any
the-
different? Would you still not want him going hood?
I think this time around he can get one. There's a lot of magical damage, especially from like Ember Gyro.
So you're not a hooder? You
uh,
don't like hood too much, or?
I like it. I just didn't like it in that game because they had 2 heavy physical damage cores. They had TA plus something else.
Yeah.
Maybe even Ursa. No, I don't remember.
And this game they have a ton of magic damage, so just from a gyro alone. So I wouldn't mind him going into that.
Yeah, they go for Legion Commander. Makes a lot of sense, as we mentioned before. Can dispel that Ogre, remove the arrow, and just builds into Hood. Very annoying. Later on, you can give free BKBs to people.
So we're expecting a mid-ember, right?
Mid-Ember for sure. So they need position 4, something that could potentially have another save. I would not mind. Skyrot is a good ban.
Do you think they have some damage problems? I was
On
thinking
Neon?
about yeah.
I think Tusk solves a bit of a problem,
Yeah, Tusk could
especially,
be good. I really like Skyraf, so the ban is good.
especially against the Dragon Knight.
Yeah.
Like,
I really
you
feel like
are-
right now they lack quite a bit of damage.
especially early on. Like
Yeah.
these heroes don't deal damage at the early stages.
Like
so
you really need Maelstrom on Ember or something, and then maybe have enough
it
damage.
needs time. Like this lineup needs a bit more time. Io needs Helm of the Dominator plus Aghanim Scepter to be able to join fights.
But it's gonna be a support IO probably, right? So it's even less
yeah,
damage.
yeah. Sorry. My bad.
Yeah, so even less damage from there. Gyro, Ember. Yeah, that's the only worry I have. The lineup looks pretty solid overall. Like they have good saves, good sustain, good scaling, but the early game might be a little tough because they have so many tanky heroes on the Dire side.
Earth Spirit still in the pool.
Yeah. What is like a good player here? What is like a Pangolier?
He played a lot of Mirana, he played a lot of
Okay,
Nyx.
Oh, these go-
that's good. I
Yeah.
like that. I like that quite a lot. Not just because of the double duel. It's about
The
pairing
Legion lane is
Legion
sick.
Commander with the range hero in the lane, so you put much more pressure. And this Inkswell, you have 2 great heroes and 1 decent one with Gyro to just run in.
I feel like
I forgot about the Grimstroke. I thought he was banned for whatever reason.
I know you were saying that Tiny does good against Ember, but O'Mega have exclusively played it for Tino and as a 1 position.
what I also wouldn't mind here, since you said that, Razor middle, like it destroys all 3 cores pretty much. Gyro hates playing into Razor. Ember can't lane against Razor.
What
and they
about
have
some good old
stuns
Necro?
already. Necro, sure. Can work too. Same problem there. They have no one that can lane against Necro. I feel O'Mega has quite a good draft and have quite a lot of options with the last pick here.
As long as they don't pick Dazzle, because they are known to last pick
Oh
Dazzle.
yeah,
mid.
Dazzle against Ember, that might be a trap. They fall into
Yeah.
I really hope they don't do
Last
it.
time around, they picked Dazzle into range hero,
Into
and they
DP
put
and-
it mid.
It won mid, but then what do you do?
you won mid.
Good
so,
job.
So you can tell your team it's not my fault.
Guys, I got my Midas.
I went 2-0. What do you guys want? Like you went 0-4.
Check
Hello?
the network graphs. Like we could check it after the game.
Oh, thank God.
Morphling. Okay.
Okay, so
it's a
Tiny mid.
It could be a mid morph too.
It is a
There
mid
is
morph,
mid-morph,
actually.
yeah.
Okay,
Mid
JK.
morph destroys Ember.
Yeah.
Like there's just nothing you can do ever.
Can't kill him.
Yeah. The only scary part this game is the duel. If you get it, you can never get like Phantom before you get shift off unless you're tapped out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I hope he won't be. But yeah, this is a perfect morph game actually. Gyrocopter to morph into. Even Ember is really good to morph into. I quite like this O'Mega draft here.
Same. I think they won the draft in game number 2. I wanted to see a bit of, shift, what they're going to do, how they're going to draft, and pleasantly surprised after, I don't think it could have been worse, what they had in game number 1. But this Morphling, he has a free game, and he should not lose the lane. Also, rotation-wise, Grimstroke, he doesn't care about rotations from the Grimstroke. You get chained, you're pretty good. You said about the silence. So Morphling can potentially bring this one. I'm pulling a Lizard here, but I'm going to go with OB.Neon because they just seem like a much stronger team. And their lineup is okay. I would call this 60-40 for O'Mega. It's just the execution that I'm afraid of for.
I'll pull in a real Lizard so that we can see what he actually has to think about. Lizard, are you going to get more than 25 minutes of cast time?
Wait, who's the fake lizard? Why am I the real lizard?
He was,
I
was
pulled
trying to
off
do
a
a
Lizard.
Lizard impression by saying,
Ah,
but
yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if you'll see a very quick one because the drafts are way more similar this time around, similar power levels, similar power spikes, and O'Mega have got pretty much win conditions here. The Morphling versus Gyro, the Morphling on the mid lane. It's looking much better for them. And I love the Ogre with the Bloodlust plus the Tiny position 1. Looking solid.
it's true. Ogre has an insanely high win
So
rate.
you're going for O'Mega.
Yeah, I'm going for O'Mega.
I'll be a Neon for this one.
I
B
get to
cup.
break the tie.
Yeah, you need to break the tie.
Do we have time to flip a coin?
Yeah, sure. I can.
Oh, no. We
we
don't
don't.
have time.
We don't,
All
we
right.
don't.
Heads.
Heads.
It's Neon.
Ah. All right. That's a tiebreaker if I've ever seen one. Let's see if game 2 will prove to be more competitive. Take it away,
Flip a
B
coin.
cup and Lizard.
Just because you guys couldn't see the coin doesn't mean it's not there.
Yeah, that definitely did make sense how you decided which team to go for.
I'm a
I mean,
magician.
I've seen a lot of bad stuff from you in the past when it comes to predicting, so nothing surprises me any longer. I'm fine with it.
We really need that full Season 1, Season 2 prediction rate because I feel like my percentages.
I feel like you don't need it. The rest of us, maybe. You? Are you sure? Do you really want it?
I kind of want to see it.
I'm pretty sure they have it, so they can give it to you.
For the big award at the end.
I'm not sure if you want it public or not, but sure. So yeah, what was I talking about earlier? The Morphling into the Ember, pretty damn solid. Later on, the way you itemize versus the Gyro is also good. You can turn it into a better Gyro. And you truly will have this win condition coming from the mid lane. The only problem that I see from O'Mega is there's such a one-dimensional draft. Like you have this Ogre, Mirana, Tiny, Dragonite. There's no flair to it, let's put it that way. It's all very straightforward.
And you think there's flair from Neon?
There definitely is. Like you have some Grimstroke with Soulbind ulti, you have some Relocate, Ember can play in and out. On O'Mega, I'm a Dragonite, I am going to stun you, and then Ogre will also stun you, and then Mirana will hit you, and you dead. You know, it's
You know it's coming. You know what's gonna be there.
You can definitely read it. The only question is, can you do anything about it?
Yeah. That's the question, and I wonder. I want to say it depends on how well CTM does, because that shard, I could see it being very big in this game, or even just multiple levels in the press the attack. Have it on that level 4, have that 13-second cooldown. You know, somebody gets stunned, give them a chance to get out of there, press the attack, run away.
Yeah, we've seen like maybe one game where Legion Commander didn't do well.
Yeah. Legion is, at least right now, seemingly a very strong hero.
And this is a very strong lane. It's not seemingly, she is strong. And this lane with the Grimstroke is also pretty damn sick. You have Inkswell, a lot of catch potential. It's pretty solid, pretty solid. On the bottom lane, Shanks starting once again with the Blightstone. We see this very often on position 4 Miranas at the moment. Makes it a little bit easier to trade, especially versus an IO that has like very low armor.
Little avalanche action from Tino.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
This is, you see the ward behind the tier 1 on the bottom lane?
Yeah.
That's literally what's killing these couriers.
Well, Yopaj getting a little bit low. Yeah, I place that ward a lot. I like killing some couriers.
You can also put it on the cliff, a little bit to the left.
Yeah.
If you're playing something like an Enchantress or a Doom and you need to see the camp as well, that cliff is actually a pretty solid place to put it. Because you can react to the courier moving in a bit faster.
I wonder if they're going to get this courier as well. Because Shanks will see it, but I don't think he's going to.
They're moving it back. They're microing it. You could actually see the Mirana. Shanks moves a little bit to the left, instantly micro the courier back. On the mid lane, this is a big bait of a lane in which Morphling is always sitting low, so you're thinking there's going to be a kill, but he just morphs back up and you didn't do anything pretty much.
CTM taking some damage, overwhelming odds on both heroes.
Yeah, Ogre doesn't care. He's a big chunky boy.
7 armor.
So
Literally unkillable.
oh man, he had 11 at one point. Like if I'm not sure if he had 11 or he had 11 with 1 ring of protection, but it was good times, good times. You would literally dive a tier 2.
Oh, they're going and looking for Shanks. Didn't get that homing missile to hit though.
That's not happening as well, right? You're playing versus a Mirana with the leaf. If you do manage to kill Shanks, that's definitely his own fault. He overextended, did something similar. That is mid lane.
Mac?
I mean, they both have water runes. There is no way. Like, it's not. It's just a bait. Observers getting jebaited. That's the storyline here. In before someone dies, and then Vepas messages me on WhatsApp. What's up now, Lizard?
I always get debated by the Morphling, especially when he's shifting and you see that life just get super low and you're like, oh, is he dying? And then you click over to his lane, it's just him standing by himself.
Oh, mid lane. I love how we're just gonna watch this lane now. Vepas is like, nah, man. I'm not moving away anymore. This is it. This is what we're watching.
He's on 1 health. Very killable.
Yeah. It's like I said, big debate. If any one of these dies early on, it's mostly due to outplay or Morphling maybe shifting Agi when he should have went strength.
Yopaj taking a lot of damage from those adaptive strikes. Not enjoying it. Avalanche, toss, through onto CTM, press the attack to back off. CML not there to help out, but Yopaj getting low, slights once again. As this Flame Guard has a sip in the bottle.
Meanwhile, he just lost like 3 creeps under the tower on the side of Morphling. Sadly, because he was trying to get that kill.
Now he just gets that bounty rune.
Top lane so far, as expected, CTM, he's not dominating, he's not pressuring the Tiny and Ogre. It's really hard to do that, but he's still farming, and he has a very decent CS. This is something that we've all come to expect from Legion commanders. Bottom lane is very similar as well, because Mirana, it's difficult to heal her, 3 leap charges. Dragon Knight just naturally way too tanky to take down. So, mid lane is the most flashy lane here. It's the most interesting one.
Just doesn't look like they're going to die anyway. Like you said, unless there's a misplay. 35-0 already for this Tiny. Wow.
He is taking a little bit of damage now, Moment of Courage procs. And with Mirana rotating mid, maybe the arrow will make the difference. They are setting up the stun into...
They missed the arrow. That can't happen because now CML, he might be the one who dies. They'll chase with the Inkswell. Not sure he's got the damage, but the silence stops the stun on the Yopaj. Waveform, first blood there for Play Hard. Yopaj, not getting saved.
It was all the next level play. We're just not good enough to understand. Bait the Ember onto your own side to be able to actually kill him. Yeah, that arrow, zoning arrow from Shanks, I'm not sure. Like when you set up with the stun, you should be able to land it. Mistakes do happen. Nice try from Jean-Well as well to rotate in to save the Ember, but it's very difficult when you're full HP on IO. It's very difficult for Wisp to heal you up if he's already full, if he doesn't have Fairy Fires.
I wonder if Playhard just caught that. The bounty getting taken and then knowing that the ward was probably placed.
I should probably know. We're 7 minutes in, and there's 2 kills on the board. Give me the Rambulan. Filipinos, my friends, what's happening here? I was promised brawling action. I was promised 20-minute games, decide who's the better one. No strategizing, nothing like that, just fight it off manly. But this is way more calm, strategized.
They're keeping it slow for you so you can get
so I can
a
understand
longer
it.
game.
Yeah.
So you're not done in 22 minutes.
Yeah, I've casted with you this season. Not too many games, and all of them were like 15-20 minute mark. Done. It's a nice stack of hard camp here, and the Ancients. Yeah, you need to give a little bit more to the Ember.
Ooh, they find the dual Phantom's Embrace, tether over. They've got the win. Shanks getting caught. Inkswell lands onto the Ogre. They've got Tiny on the high ground. Avalanche, I'm not sure that saves them. Stroke of Fate for the slow. They've got 3 heroes here to output that damage, and eventually CML.
He's a big boy.
Should die. Yeah,
he,
overwhelming odds.
He's a big boy, but there's way too much damage. And I love how Ember just Yopaj, she's like, yeah, I'll slide a fist, and that's my contribution back to the stacks. And it's important for him to get a lot of farm early on because he's the vessel builder. You can see that he already has it queued up, and this vessel is huge for Neo. Not only versus Morphling, by the way. All 3 cores are pretty much tanky, right? Like the 1k plus early on. The Dragon Knight, the Tiny, the Morphling. None of these heroes like Vessel applied.
They really want to go in on Natsumi, but they've got the tether, and now... Oh, arrow doesn't land. Rocket Barrage, I thought maybe that would be enough damage.
Ember is here, though.
Cytofu's Searing Chains, and DK getting low. Eventually, Sam H does die. Max made the rotation, but not getting anything out of it.
He tried to TP back in, maybe get a counter kill, but it didn't work mostly because there was a haste as well on Ember, so it's very easy for him to get in and out. He might get caught here, though.
Searing Chains. Oh, Slight and the Remnant. He's fine.
He didn't snatch the bounty rune. That was the plan. Yopaj just tried to be a little bit cheeky there to take the bounty rune away from them.
Yeah, how risky can he be?
Yeah. So looking at net worth right now, O'Mega is doing fairly well. Morphling is on top, followed closely by Tiny. So it's not a huge difference. They're still, as a team, 1k behind. But the lanes have went decently well for them. Much, much better than in game 1.
Yeah. I guess the only thing now that they have to worry about are these stacks. They've got vision, and Mac's going to come over here, take the bounty. And I guess the question becomes, is there a way for them to shut down the stack taking?
I don't think so. Not at the moment, at least if you're Dire. Maybe you can bring your whole team plus Tiny, and Tiny snatches them away, but it's not easy and it will take them a lot of time. And if it takes you a lot of time to take those stacks, you're worrying against relocate, against gyro rotating in.
Tap to strike. CMO coming over. They don't catch. Play hard.
Man, Mac actually at least wants the hard camp. It's not a big stack though. This is 1-1. He might be able to take it though.
Frustrating if you are Neon though.
Yeah, they're pinging it out, but they're not reacting to it. There's the Legion now, CTM, Scam, he's rotating, Yopaj as well.
They might be able to kill him still. Searing Chains, they're looking to get this. Press the attack, good adaptive strike. The silence comes in a little bit too late, but the Ink Swell lands on 2. Now they've got the duel, they'll get both kills. That was really well done.
That was really well done, and also very expected from me. Like, if you are trying to steal these stacks and you're taking so much time, they will eventually respond to it. So you took pretty much one big creep. You farmed one camp, literally. And you died for that. So
yeah.
It's definitely not worth it.
I guess the only thing I'm worried about, Avalanche toss here onto Natsumi, leap in, Starstorm, still gonna die. Well, couldn't do enough, but Shanks is dead in return. They also get the 2-1 tower in the bottom lane.
Can they do anything else, Tino?
They're looking for Tino. They want this Inkswell to land, but just off the mark, and Max come over. There is a lot of heroes here for Smart O'Mega. Searing Chains, now back the other way. Stroke of Fate lands on 2.
They're getting out because Tiny is reconnecting, and he has a blink.
Avalanche, and the toss, Soulbind, and the damage just too much for Yopaj to handle. 4 heroes here. They've got the duel on a multiple heroes. They have the damage with the rocket barrage. Yes, they do.
Did he get the double? No,
I think
he got one double.
Got one.
Yeah, he got one, but they killed both of them.
Yeah, he's only got 30 damage. That would have pushed him to 40.
I think that's worth for Neon, right? They did lose the Ember, but Gyro survives, and Legion Commander also gets the dual damage, which is so valuable for you. It's solid.
I'm still a little surprised that Morph's taking this stack and they haven't gone to deward it yet.
The Radiant Jungle one?
Yeah, there was that ward there before and they didn't go, and I'm expecting another ward to come out because it wasn't dewarded. If you don't take away the vision, why not place it there again, right?
Oh, well, Gyro will rotate in, he will farm it all up.
So now it's not worth putting that vision.
It doesn't really matter anymore. It's still nice ward to have if you're farming this and you're worried.
You think they just gave up on protecting that? And
we'll see. Tiny is actually rotating in, so he might actually try to contest this.
And this is without the vision because it timed out.
Yep. This kind of a move you kind of need to do in a smoke, and they're not.
They're just looking to come over.
It's so difficult to run uphill like this. Sam H will do it though. He's a big dragon.
Now they'll try. It's a little late to steal the stacks. I mean, all 5 are here. They'll take some of it.
It's solid. It's 3 big creeps.
Yeah.
It's actually, they just bullied them out. They literally just bullied them out. They didn't even smoke. Nothing like that. They just gather together and move uphill.
And that comes from the information they had prior, right? Like, because that word was there for so long, they knew the stacking was happening. Yes. They know that the gyro from that fight has moved over to that camp, even though they no longer have the vision, right?
Everything you said is very correct, but it was still an extremely risky move.
Yeah, well, if you, like you said, if you're not smoking,
it's very risky.
You're just showing your moves. I'm surprised they got away with as much as they did.
Exactly, because Neon was a little bit more on the greedier side. They were farming with Ember, with Legion Commander that was just running around, so they couldn't set up the perimeter and protect the triangle, which kind of goes hand in hand with what you asked earlier. Why not protect the triangle with wards?
Yopaj in some trouble. Stroke of Fate lands on 2, slowing down Mac and CML. Because that Obs having the full duration gave that information. I'm just wondering why they I feel like they knew they had the vision there, but I don't know.
This is all nerd stuff we're talking about. Yeah. Let's talk about some really good items that are coming online. Yopaj, he actually has the vessel. Because of that,
on Natsumi too.
Exactly, and because of these 2 items, they instantly smoke up. You also have relocate, remember, so a big team fight should come. For Neon, they just need to execute properly. This is their huge power spike.
Yeah, this is a really big one, especially with this double damage. They could really make some big work happen if they catch Tino, especially. Oh, Searing Chains don't land, but they got a soul bind on it too. Now they're gonna go for this. Homing missile coming out, avalanche toss, Tino dead, waveform in. Mac, that's a risky position, a risky proposition, and they're gonna get the kill here on the Mac, take out all 3 cores, and they lose nothing.
Yeah,
they want more.
That was not really a risky position for Neon, and Ogre with his Ignite and Ignition definitely did not save his team, and mission is accomplished for Neon. They take that vessel and they take a first good fight.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
It's kind of telegraphed as well, right? Like, you should understand that this is coming, but it's just O'Mega. They were not prepared.
Going from the after party to the hotel lobby, nothing that they could do with that one. They'll have to spend their time relaxing now as they were respawning.
They just need to use their smokes, perhaps the Mirana ulti offensively. The thing is, what they're waiting for is the C-Blade on Morph. It gives them a big power spike. And O'Mega, they're not necessarily in a rush, but you can't be just taking this battery without doing anything at all. You need to respond at some point. They're trying to perhaps set up on the top lane, Tiny and Mirana.
They're not even putting themselves in a position to get caught in that top lane.
Yeah, you can see the circle made by the Grimstroke. Play hard is like, let's go play there. They must be in that area. They're not around bottom. We have full control.
Yeah, they've got an obs on the cliff. I haven't seen anybody come in from the Dire Triangle just yet. And they'll catch vision as CML here.
They see CML now. He's trying to D-ward, as a good support should do.
Side of Fist, Searing Chains, looking for the Inkswell. Venom's Embrace, no stun for you, no ignition either. And there will be a kill onto the Ogre. And they're holding that high ground ward. And you know he's coming over. You gotta assume that he's got the sentry down.
It's an important one. It's an important ward to protect if you're Neon, because it allows you to just stay in their triangle and not move away from it at all. You just stay there, and whoever tries to go in and D-ward, just pick him off first. But my question again is, now that you have E-Blade, are you finally ready to smoke up on O'Mega? And they do it. They do it instantly. Because you have to make a move. You just can't let them control the pace of the game so well and for such a long time. You again have 4 kills against 14. It's unacceptable.
Problem is, if this goes wrong too, it really turns poor and sour. Inkswell, press the attack. They've got the duel. Now they're going up top. They're trying to get the kill out on an Natsumi in the top lane. E-Blade is the damage there with the IO. Oh, Homing Missile coming in and he relocates out.
I'm actually sad for O'Mega, a biased caster, because they made the proper move. It just did not work out, sadly, for them. Very well played by IO and the Gyro. They relocate out and they relocate back in.
Now they're back in. They've got help. Searing Chains that lands onto the Mirana. The Spirits will show them where the Mirana is. CML, Shanks, they both fall. 3 heroes dead on the side of Smart O'Mega.
Everything is just coming together for Neon, and the Admir's or Lizard's Curse, as the panel called it, is continuing.
Got about 7 more minutes.
It's about 7 more minutes and pack it up if it continues this way, because O'Mega, super late game, with the Morphling, they still have, let's say, a very good chance of taking this game. But will they get to that late game? They're already 7k behind, 19 minutes in. It's not looking great. The whole movement when they went top and left Dragonite on mid lane is very well planned. The Dragonite here is literally just baiting. He's allowing himself to be picked off so that they can pick off Gyro and IO on the top lane. But yeah, it just doesn't work. They don't use one of those stuns on the relocate.
Yeah, the Morphling's homing missile just never got off in time.
All they had to do is just save 1 stun for the reload. That's such a basic thing to do. They probably thought that they had enough damage. They didn't.
Soulbind, uh-oh, catching this Morph. And they've got the kill on the Shanks. They'll look for the Morphling. They've got the duel. They'll take out Mac. Back-to-back deaths.
Triple kill Yopaj, and this is just falling apart. This is pretty much just falling apart. This should be easy Aegis as well. Natsumi is so far ahead at this point.
Yeah. Look at where his net worth is compared to everybody.
It's a normal standard gyro net worth, right, with the IO. It's just the fact that no one is keeping up on the side of O'Mega.
Radiant structures are fortified.
OB missile going out into Tino.
He's got his blink there. He should be... Well, actually doesn't even use it.
Dangerous.
I'm just thinking, is there a big item now that can come from O'Mega that saves the day? There is nothing really huge. It's literally just about the way they execute fights. They need to maybe take a loss here. Go in, pick off 2, then trade at a loss, right? 4 heroes for 2, 4 for 3. Do something similar. Hopefully Morphling survives, but Morphling is being caught again.
God, he's being caught one more time. Press the attack. Moonlight Shadow, is that it? Oh my god, Yopaj got the kill even, and well now, Tino, he's dusted, he's dueled, he's dead.
That's 11k, 21 minutes in. The curse continues. Vessel was such an amazing build from Ember this game. This Kai and Sanj afterwards, it's nice, but it's not a game changer. The Vessel is really what made them tick. The moment they got it, and it's such a cheap item that activates the team, the moment they got it, they took full control of the map. Right. Instant smoke afterwards. Meanwhile, I feel like O'Mega did not use their timings properly. The Blink Dagger on the Tiny, they didn't utilize it with any smokes. They just kind of tried to bully themselves into the map.
Spirit Vessel onto the Ogre. They are going to kill off this Ogre, stay on the high ground. Glyph is in out while the creeps come up. Side of Fist Searing Chains once again looking for the homing missile. Do they dive him?
You have
Everybody
Aegis,
needs him.
right? So you don't have to run away. You can just stay here. Also, is he complete?
Avalanche, toss under the tier 3, but they've got the BKB,
Oh, he
and they'll take
BKB.
Aegis.
He popped his BKB though.
They've got the duel of the soul binding a little bit late. Phantom's Embrace, it's on to Tino. The question is, can Natsumi survive this now that he no longer has the BKB? The damage out onto Tino is more than enough. They get the kill there onto Sam H. They'll take out 2. CML follows into the grave. They'll buy back on this Dragonite. This tier 3 set to fall. Demolition starts now. And I don't know how you fight into this.
Maybe they'll continue fighting after this site has fallen. Oh, Dragonite.
Avoiding the arrow. Sam H. He's dead once more. He just bought back. He's dead for 71. They don't exactly take buildings so fast.
They do.
Now they do.
They do fast enough, right?
And
That's
they
it.
GG.
Yep. When it's time to call it, like Lacoste says, it's time to call it.
It's time to call it.
Or should I use Black's GG?
You can do either. You can do both.
When it's time to GG, it's time to GG.
This one under the average.
Welcome to Lizards.
Can we just cast together
games.
all the time? You know,
I'm making these days very, very quick.
get ourselves
guys.
some quick games of Dota. That was really well done by Neon. They looked really good the entire time. Never really fell off. Their movements were great.
I just expect more from O'Mega. I'm actually a little bit disappointed.
Well, is that because they came out of the gate hot?
I'm not sure. I feel like they might have given too much respect to Neon. Didn't really play their game. Didn't use any smokes early on.
True.
Just gave full control to Neon, really.
Yeah, and Neon take full control to a 2-0 victory over Smart O'Mega. To break it down a little bit further for you, we got the panel. Back over to you guys.
And now I finally maybe get an answer on how good Neon is, because this was a draft that we all pretty much considered O'Mega to have won. Morphling, pretty much a guaranteed answer to most gyrocopters. And overall, they had scaling, they had stuns, they had pretty much all the ingredients that you'd need, except the capability to beat a top 6 major finisher, which, to be expected. You know, OB.Neon have had the experience. Smart O'Mega, a lower division promotion. So still maybe would have been a little bit more competitive ideally, rather than 2 sub-25-minute GGs, Black, but what can you do?
Yeah, outplayed again this time around. Can't blame it on the draft, unfortunately. So O'Mega will have to do some self-reflecting, some questionable item builds. I don't particularly like the E-Blade on the Morphling. Your entire job this game is, buy Manta Skadi, become the gyro, hit people. Like, you don't need this magic burst. There's no point in doing so. But just overall, they look very disconnected, and Neon didn't. Finally playing up to the standard.
Yeah, Neon did really well, especially Yopaj on the mid lane was keeping even in
Somehow.
terms of CS. I'm not sure how that's possible against the Morphling, but he managed to do so. Being very close to dying multiple times, just one hit away from it. I guess he understands the matchup, understands how much damage, how aggressive he can play. And coming up from the off lane, this LC, he was just pretty much the unkillable force. I liked his itemization quite a lot. Going for like casual bracer, magic wand, soul ring, everything gives you tankiness, even the raindrop plus then getting a hood. As we mentioned before, looked like a good Legion Commander game, itemization, get that hood online, upgrade it to pipe later on. They're just not going to be able to deal any damage. You have a way of dispelling things, giving attack speed to Gyro, so his flat cannon goes out even quicker. So many dual victories. Also, not sure if like it's him playing well or Morphling not being able to use the shift button. Use me as a shift button, you know.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, maybe the keyboard is buggy, you know? Like, only half of the
Works
time
every
it works.
He
second
doesn't have
time.
a HyperX keyboard. That's the problem. Oh,
You hate to see it.
not like this.
Highlights are over again. Usually we talk like 2-3 minutes, but another minute, it's gone. All right, what do we
Blink and
say?
you'll miss it.
Well played, Neon.
Well
They
played, Neon.
managed to get only 4 kills on board with
How
their
much was
lineup.
game
You
one?
have,
How many kills? Like
I-
also 4 or something?
I think a bit more, maybe 5, 6 to 9,
Nice.
possibly.
So combined, they have a 2-digit score. It's not bad. Could always be worse.
Also, this build on Yopaj, going for earlier Spirit Vessel, I really like that.
What about the Kaya Saint?
Kaya saying, you know, maybe something else, but I guess he had a good feeling that he can go for a more different kind of a build. You know,
Enjoy
we're
yourself a
yeah,
little.
exactly.
Yeah.
This is not something you see, so we're just styling on them. Spirit Vessel kind of crippled both Morphling, also this tanky Dragonite, even Tiny. Tiny has a ton of HP.
And he did well in the mid lane, which is a tough matchup for an Ember Spirit, so we will give the MVP to Yopaj on that Ember Spirit.
Again,
Again,
2 times. Wow.
the back-to-back. Why?
What?
Who else would you have
Kill
given it to?
participation 0.96,
Yeah,
not
exactly.
even
I think he
1.
missed 1 or 2 maybe. How dare he?
How dare he?
During Major, he had his puck performance. He was involved in every
100%.
single kill. It was like 40 kills or whatever, and he was in every single one of those kills. Pretty impressive. Like, he is just an insanely skilled player.
Yeah, and I overall like how they are giving Natsumi traditional carries. They were trying to mold him into something that he wasn't, but this series seems like a return to form for everyone involved, including our interviewee for this series. We're going to get a chance to talk to Skem, aka CTM, Can't Touch Me. Congratulations on the 2-0 victory versus Smart O'Mega.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a question about your off-lane pool. We've been kind of curious. You like picking some non-traditional off-laners. How'd you feel about your Mirana off-lane? Is she going to be viable, or was that just like a flex pick?
I think it's a flex pick. The Miranda.
Okay. What was, if it had worked out, what was your build going to be in that game? I know this is a previous series, but I was curious about it.
The normal build, the Threads, Maelstrom, Big AB.
So I was curious,
And
would you get
I
the shard
will
or
buy
no?
Agshard. Yeah, I will buy
Okay.
Agshard.
So you guys lost the TNC, lost the Execration. Now you seem in this series to be pretty easy. Like, everything was easy for you, 2 20-minute games. Like, what changed? Is it just the opponent, or did you guys found what the flaws were?
I think we are so chill last series. Then we lose 2 straight in a row. Then we just become better in scrim and in the tournament.
When you say chilled,
and we play so serious.
do you mean like less
Like-
preparation? Do you still scream quite a lot, or is it just you guys wanted to take some time off?
We scream, but we are not serious in scream. Then after we lose 2 series, we are so serious.
too much success.
Suffering from success.
But I wanted to ask, I know a lot of Malaysian teams in particular do that, but do you scrim against Chinese teams as well, like with a VPN, or is that not something you can do?
Yeah, we last major we only scrim Chinese. We never scrim C teams.
Okay.
But this second DPC season, we half.
Okay.
The last question, we've been asking all of the Southeast Asian players this. I'm not going to give you a hint, but who do you think is the strongest carry in 7.29C right now?
In C.
Well, the
Hero?
hero.
The hero, yeah.
Oh. I think it's.
Look at the list, because
Medusa.
there we go.
Medusa.
There we go. That's the answer that we've been getting consistently, and you guys were banning it out, so respect to the Snake
Yeah.
Lady. Well, congratulations on your victory versus Smart O'Mega. Glad to hear that you're taking things seriously after a very, very successful Singapore major run, and looking forward to seeing more from your team later on.
Okay. Thank
Bye-bye,
you.
Captain.
So what is that now? 4 players saying Medusa's strongest carry so far?
They don't know what they're talking about. This hero's perfectly balanced.
Lacoste, you're not even a carry player. You don't need to get free MMR from Medusa.
No, I find other ways.
I'm pretty sure you could probably pull off a 4 Medusa, I'm not even lying.
Oh, man.
Like you rush Axe, you just
Yeah.
throw snakes, you
Yeah.
run in first.
If you have a self-sustainable offlaner, you could potentially do that. Just stack. You can easily clear them later on. You don't necessarily need to be the one who's clearing the stacks, but you can be there, collect some XP from it.
Dude.
I think there's some potential in possibly offlane Medusa.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
again, like why would you? You know.
When you could just make it a carry.
Yeah, you can counter it.
why
sure,
not have
but
more carries? Imagine having
There you go. That's the pub mentality
3,
that I
4
like to hear.
carries.
Stone Gates, Mars, Phoenix. What else do we need? Some Sanking middle. Just get as many cores as we
Someone
can.
needs to be a playmaker if you have something like that. So it's either Brawling type 4 that makes space around the map, Tusk Earth Spirit, or your mid
Disruptor.
laner needs to be very active, something like a Void Spirit possibly.
What about post 5 Disruptor? You run away, Stone Gaze, but you
Oh,
come
yeah.
back in.
Great. I can see that being very, very promising. Let's leave this theory crafting the pros, perhaps. Let's leave it to the teams that we have now as we have updated standings. TNC still topping the charts, but we have now 4 losses, unfortunately, for Smart O'Mega. They were looking good week 1, 2, and a little bit of 3, but they're down there with their other lower division promotion team, Lilgun, 0-3.
Yeah, they also played 6 games, 6 series, so that means that they only have
One more
left.
opponent, yeah. I don't know who that is, but I can check. Meanwhile, we see that OB.Neon on the come up, like we heard from Can't Touch Me. They were a little complacent early on.
Yeah, they need to play against Boom, I believe. They still have not played them, so not an easy one. So if they drop that one, it's looking pretty grim for them. All they need to do, if they lose that series, OB.Neon's probably going to win 1 extra. T1, Fnatic, they also have 4. Fnatic has even 3 series played. So they're going to stay down and probably be relegated.
Yep. Smart Omega's last opponent is Boom, so... Wait, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I
They
know
didn't look
you
too
were
hot, though.
focused. You were
Their
trying to figure
production
out
was
what
telling
it
me
is.
in the air, and I was just like, there's no way Lacoste knows this. I'm just going to trust my producer. JK.
But Boom didn't look so hot either.
Yeah.
So nothing set in stone.
Still favoring them.
Of course,
Boom can
yeah.
play better Dota than O'Mega, in my book.
Better fundamentals.
Yeah, it's just that sometimes they also mess up with their drafts. It's also going back to season 1 when they had, I think, what we called the worst draft of the season with the Bounty, Keeper of the Light, and Bloodseeker, and 2
Void
other
Spirit,
heroes. Yeah, just
Maybe
no,
offlane
Ugh.
Viper or something.
no stunned kind of a lineup. You were not there, so
No, but that
you
sounds disgusting.
It sounds awful, and it was.
Unpleasant. Well, if Smart Omega win that, then they will be in a tiebreaker with Boom to remain in the upper division. So anything's possible. But for Neon, seems like they're on an upwards trend, which is always encouraging.
Yeah, I mean, he said they did not take these 2 series that they lost serious enough. So I expect them to bounce back. Like you could see that something was off in those games, and he confirmed it. They didn't try hard enough, and also I like what he talked about the Chinese teams. One of the reasons why they looked so strong
Yep.
at the major, because they were screaming only Chinese teams, and China seems to be the strongest region. They are just understanding of the meta, and they're good screaming partners.
And we will return to Southeast Asia on Saturday with a few more BO3s. 9 CEST, it's going to be Execration versus T1. And then after that, 12 CEST, Fnatic versus Lilgun. Even though Lilgun doesn't really have much to play for, still, if they can get a win, that would be very, very
If they win
encouraging
4 games,
for Mongolia.
It's doable.
then it could be in a tiebreaker for the major, potentially. Not saying it's very likely, but it's another chance.
We'll be
Crazier things have happened.
Crazier things have happened. And Fnatic, even though they won their most recent series, we were still not really encouraged by the performance.
Not really. I feel like a lot of these teams, this is what we've been saying, that they all look shaky. In the previous season, we had like these clear favorites, especially Neon, who were just stomping everyone else. This time around, it's a bit of a different story.
Yeah, well, only one BO3 for today. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. We will be back, as you saw on Saturday, but more PGL Dota 2 experience brought to you by HyperX and the top quality comfort of Secret Lab chairs. We will be back on Saturday.